It's game week, Corey. Game week 2025.
That was startling. I didn't know we were starting.
What were you thinking about?
Just things. Like
Florida State will open the season this Saturday against Alabama.
Yep.
3:30, 3:45.
3:45, according to Mike Norvell. He knows something we don't. I mean, I knew it was going to be probably after 3:30, but I didn't think it'd be 15 minutes after.
We did just speak to Mike Norvell, Florida State's head coach, about the depth chart that was just released. It was released right before the press conference started. There's a couple of surprises there. A lot of things we probably already knew. He also talked about this team and kind of what he's seen out of preseason camp. Seems like he's in a good place overall. I mean, I don't know how much you could read from that. He was in a good place a year ago at this time. But what were your takeaways from today's press conference?
My first takeaway, honestly, because I was thinking a lot about last year and that game week, the opening press conference of game week, and I'm just so – I don't know. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I'm so thankful for we're not ready to take a cross-world trip to across a pond. You know what I mean? And the reason I bring that up is not just my fear of flying. It's that that's a daunting endeavor, what they did last year to start the season. Now, this one's a little daunting, too, because it's Alabama, but at least it's right behind us. You know what I mean? And it's not having to go across time zones and across oceans. I do think he seems calm and kind of quietly confident. But again, what do you take? What is he? If he was panicking and sweating, that wouldn't be a great sign, but I wouldn't expect that to happen. So I thought the most interesting stuff he talked. Well, there's a lot of stuff. Go watch the video that Aslan just posted. Great video as always from Mike Norvell. I thought the most interesting stuff was, well, I don't know. What did you think the most interesting stuff was, Ira? I'm not sure if I found anything all that insightful other than the depth chart stuff. I thought was really good.
That was a great 30 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
No, I think to me the depth chart stuff was the most interesting stuff from the standpoint of you do have a couple starters on defense that we probably didn't expect. I mean, we didn't know Ashlyn Barker has won a starting job at safety. He's a guy that a lot of FSU fans may not be all that familiar with. Right. He's been here for. There's
no or with him either. It's just he's a straight starter.
Yeah, he's a starter over Shaheem Brown at one of the safety spots, and so Shaheem's a 2-year starter. We got the sense from camp that Shaheem was not going to be a starter, but I thought KJ Kirkland might win that spot. KJ Kirkland actually is still in a battle for one of the safety spots with Edwin Joseph, who I think a lot of us thought Edwin Joseph probably locked down that starting role. So there's still competition there at that other safety position. And then Ashlyn Barker has won that job. And then on the defensive line, obviously we've been talking for weeks now about how encouraged they are that Jason Jenkins, the Tennessee defensive line transfer, was going to be available. We didn't know how available. Well, he's also in the starting lineup. He's the starting big defensive end opposite of James Williams. So those are, two pretty significant revelations, I think.
And on the offensive line, Rizzi is a potential starter at two different spots, which probably means, honestly, that he's not starting at either. But I feel like they have 6 starting guys that they like. And I shouldn't say that
he might be starting.
He might. Yeah. It's just odd that he's mentioned at 2 different spots, at both guard spots. Right. But I feel like they have a trio of guards that they trust, is what it appears like to me, which is good. What is not, to me, a great sign is that Medley, who might be your starting left guard, is also one of your backup tackles, which means it hasn't maybe been the best. You don't have the best depth there at the offensive line, and as we all know, that the offensive line, it's hard to keep them healthy for a full season. But if they stay healthy with those 6, the sounds of Doak behind us. Am I right, Ira? If they stay healthy with those 6 guys, you kind of like what they have. It's not going to be an incredible offensive line, but it should be pretty dang solid.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about it is a lot of times, including mostly the time we've been covering Florida State, they might put like a theoretical 2 deep for the offensive line. They might list a guy as the second team right tackle, he's not going to be the guy. If that starter goes down, they're moving somebody else over there. This time they're just being very straightforward about it, and they're making it clear there's like 6 guys they really feel good about. And I think to your point, Adrian Medley or Richie Leonard, we thought were going to be the starters. Jacob Rizzi's come back in camp, and it's now those 3 battling for those 2 spots. But also, I think it's center. They do have Chavez Thompson listed, a true freshman at center. That seems like a big ask. If anything happens to Luke Pettibone, who they love, are you really going to put a true freshman in the center? But at that point, maybe they go to Rizzi. So I asked Mike Norvell about that, all the contingencies, and he said, "Yeah, man, we've mapped it all out. There's going to be a lot of moving guys around if they have any injuries on that offensive line, which is not great."
Right. That's kind of how it is probably at most schools, though, right? You want to just get your best 5 guys out there. I would say when you talk about Chavez Thompson, he's one of, I think, 5 5 or 6 true freshmen that are on the depth chart. And look, the depth chart isn't just straight 22. It's probably 35 guys mentioned total because there's some oars.
There's 12 guys on offense, which is a nice.
Oh, there
trick
was. I didn't count that. Oh, okay.
2 running backs and 3 receivers in.
Okay, well then there you got a real shot against Bama. If it's 12 on 11, baby, they're going to have some issues. But I think that you have Kevin Sperry, if you want to count him. You obviously got Mandrell Desir. They didn't just list them, the Desir twins, on the depth chart. They actually specified one by name. And then you got Boggs, Cromaw, and then Chavez Thompson.
And Shamar Arnaud.
And Shamar, yeah, so you got 6. Plus, Norvell said that by the middle of the season, he wouldn't be surprised that there were double-digit freshmen at least playing, maybe being on the depth chart. But one of the ones that won't play is a guy that I think could be really impactful by the time the season's over, and that's Kevin Wynn. Norvell confirmed that he's out for this week, said LaWayne McCoy is also out for this week if you're wondering why you didn't see him on the depth chart. But I don't know how big those losses are necessarily for this game. And I think the way he talked that they could be back soon enough, I think you need both those guys, man. Maybe specifically Wynn. I think Wynn is a guy that they really want to see.
Yeah, and I think at that defensive line, there's some interesting subtext in that depth chart. You know, a guy that we in the spring that we really thought would be a big factor in this defensive line rotation was KJ Sampson.
Yeah.
Tony White, the defensive coordinator, said he challenged him in the spring. We have not heard a lot about him in preseason camp, and he's not listed on the 2 deep. Daniel Lyons is the second-team nose guard behind Darrell Jackson. I don't know if that's really where they wanted to put Daniel Lyons. I think they maybe wanted him as that big defensive end. So that defensive line rotation, I think, is going to be something to really pay attention to over the course of the season. But, yeah, the thing about the freshmen is interesting is, and I asked him about this, the fact that there's several freshmen. There's also a couple of walk-ons, Donnie Hebert, backup safety, A.J. Cottrell.
Our linebacker.
2 former walk-ons who are on the 2 deep.
You say former, are they not walk-ons anymore?
Yeah, I think with revenue sharing, I think everybody's on scholarship.
Congrats,
now.
guys.
You only have 105.
We didn't see that cool video clip of them getting their scholarship.
They don't do it anymore. There's too many of them.
Okay.
But those guys now are on your 2 deep depth chart, and you have all these freshmen. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, it's cool that there's open competition and those guys are getting a shot. But is that where you want to be going into a game against Alabama?
No, not
I'm guessing they don't have a lot of freshmen and walk-ons.
I doubt they have a lot of walk-ons on their 2 deep, but I think especially at linebacker with Lavalley, he's banged up, so you needed a 6th guy. And look, man, we haven't watched practice this year, but we watched plenty of practices the last 2 years. Cottrell makes plays, man. He does.
So does Hebert.
They make plays. They're out there, so I don't. And they got a little what for to him. Especially Cottrell, I think, has a little what for to him. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me, but you wonder, is that the truth? Which it very well may. I'm not trying to diminish what they've accomplished. They're on a 2 deep depth chart, former walk-ons, in a season over against Alabama. Or is it a message to other guys? Right. You never know especially at safety, because it seems odd to me that like Earl Little might be second team along with Donnie Hebert. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that they're in the same. They're in this.
Earl is starting.
You think so? Well, he said or. It said Earl Little or Edwin Joseph.
No, it was Edwin Joseph or KJ
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's what I said,
Earl Little
guys.
is locked in, buddy.
That is what I said.
I think
go run the tape back. It's exactly what I said. But, Kirkland. He might be in the same position as Kirkland because they really like Kirkland. So I don't know if that's a message to maybe other guys to raise their game up.
They've been trying to send the message for months now.
Well, this is in black and white now. This is for the whole world to see. This is not a closed practice where they're yelling at you. The whole world knows now you're not even on a depth chart. So that is a stark slap to the face. That's the saying, right?
Sure.
Slaps to the face are stark. So I thought that was interesting too. I thought what he said about the freshman was interesting. Will he want to wrap up with Castellanos or not?
Yes, let's talk about Tommy
Castellanos. Because we both asked questions about the quarterback.
We did, and I don't know. You didn't feel like maybe Mike Norvell was quite as effusive as you hoped for about the on-the-field play.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
I didn't like where he took your question about. How has he surprised you? What has he been since he got here? And it was all about the leadership, which I love, by the way. I love the leadership. I love the investment. I love the fact that he's talking to the ladies at the front desk when he walks in. Legitimately, I'm not being sarcastic. I think that says something about the guy's personality and how galvanizing and magnetic he can be.
I might have thought that was sarcasm.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. But at the same time, that's why I asked the follow-up. It's like, okay, we get he's a good leader. What's he been like on the field? Because he plays a pretty important position.
He does.
And so Norvell did say he's the best. He didn't phrase it. He phrased it weirdly because I was transcribing it. He's the best I've seen him or something like that. It's like, man, you saw a great one a couple years ago. You're saying he's better than that? Or he's now better than he was 8 months ago?
I think he's probably better as a quarterback, maybe overall.
Yeah.
And listen, man, they identified him. So much of the season really depends on what happens with Tommy Castellanos, because when Mike Norvell hired Gus Malzahn and they came up with this whole plan, the whole idea was, let's go get Tommy Castellanos and build an offense around him. So they're all in. They put all their chips on Tommy Castellanos. It was not a quarterback competition.
Nope.
And we'll see how he does. But yeah, man, I think he's confident, man.
I do too. And the more I think about it, he obviously Tommy spoke enough this summer for maybe he doesn't want to come out and be like, I don't think Alabama's going to. I don't think Alabama can stop him.
You know what? I read that article.
Yeah,
I think Tommy's right, guys.
And I'll be honest with you, Nick Saban isn't there to save him. So Mike Norvell did not say that. Who just walked past us, by the way? Did he really? Oh, Gus was in our shot.
Did he wave at us?
Did he? So he heard us talking about Tommy? That's fun. That's fun. You never know what you're going to get here outside Doak Campbell Stadium, everyone. So, yeah, that's exciting. But, yeah, I do think that was a good sign that the way he talked about Tommy, and he's not going to be too overconfident talking about his quarterback, but maybe there's some quiet confidence there. Like, man, if he plays like he did against Florida State the last 2 years, they have a real good chance. That was an elite athlete.
Plenty more coverage at warchant.com. We got the depth charts.
Speaking of, I think he's right over there.
You can watch the entire interview. We got all the guests.
Yeah, we got Malzahn and Tommy Castellanos.
This is it's the day of cameos.
It is,
here.
Man. This is fun. This is just what happens when you hang out.
Plenty more coverage at warchant.com. That's what they're doing. They're looking at their phones right now.
Right, waiting and see when this drops.
All the coverage at warchant.com. Corey, have more coverage coming. And stay connected all week. Alabama, Florida State this Saturday.
We made it, everyone.
Talk to you next time.